We're back with our live views of the International Space Station. The crew lock is just above 10 psi, making its way down to 5. This depressurization process can take some time. So while that happens, we're going to do a little rundown of today's tasks. Right out the starting gate, they'll turn on their HECAs, which are high-definition cameras. Sometimes we'll be able to see views from their point of view. They'll grab all of their supplies and tools that they need and make their way over to the work site on the 1A power channel to set up shop. Here at the 1A work site, they'll find most of a completed support structure that looks like a pyramid. They built this during their last spacewalk earlier this month. It's almost complete. The sounds that you're hearing now from your screen is normal and is part of the depressurization process. That just means everything's underway. Once our spacewalkers are at their 1A power channel work site today, they'll be at this support structure that they've built during their last spacewalk. Then they're going to do some troubleshooting on the parts of the structure that gave them some trouble during the last installation and finish up their work. Then we'll move on to some other tasks to help our spacewalkers in the future. Nicole Mann will route some cables needed when the solar arrays are installed. She won't plug them in, but she'll follow a path to get the cables to where they need to go. And while Nicole Mann routes these cables, Koichi Wakata will swap out a sticky portable foot restraint for a smoother one. And Nicole Mann will join him at the end of this task, also relocating a portable foot restraint just to bring it closer for future spacewalks. The pressure in the suit lock has reached 6 psi, slowly going down to 5, at which point they'll do a leak check on the spacesuits and then proceed down to vacuum.
All right, guys, we're coming up on 5 psi. Koichi, the next section will be for you.
Okay.
All right, Koichi, depress pump man ISO valve closed. You can both expect an alert on.
Okay, depress pump manual ISO valve closed.
Okay, next you're both going to be performing a leak check. So switch display, you're going to go to status until you see leak check question mark displayed, and then you'll have a long yes to select.
EV2's in the leak check. Correction, EV1.
EV2's in leak check.
Okay, both have leak check selected, and just follow the displayed instructions. Let me know when you're complete.
EV2 leak check complete.
EV1 leak check complete. O2 actually
Okay,
in
I copy both. Leak check complete. For both of you, check O2 actuator EVA.
in work.
In work.
EV1 O2 actuator EVA.
Copy, two.
EV2 O2 actuator in EVA.
Copy, Koichi. Koichi, depress pump man ISO valve open. You can both expect an alert tone.
Depress pump manual ISO valve open.
Okay, and I will open the emergency MPEV. Okay, emergency MPEV is open. You can both monitor your suit pressure gauge. Make sure you remain below 5.5.
EV1.
EV2 copy.
And from here, we'll be depressing to 2.0 before our next action.
So the crew lock, which is just behind the door with the window there, started out at 14.7 psi, same as the rest of the International Space Station. It has gone down to 5 psi, where we went through a expected pause in the depressurization to check for leaks. Seeing none, we've continued on with the depressurization, and the psi sits at about 4, going down to vacuum. If you're just joining us this morning, we're in live coverage of a spacewalk. They have not made it out the door yet, but are expected to soon. What you're seeing on your screen now is not actually our spacewalkers. These are NASA astronauts Frank Rubio on the right and Josh Cassada on the left, looking into the window there. Just on the other side of the door are our spacewalkers donned in their spacesuits. They're getting ready to go out the door after the pressure has gone down to vacuum. The spacewalk has not officially started yet, but after it does, and our spacewalkers have gone out of the hatch, they plan to make their way over to the 1A work site, where they're going to finish up construction of a support structure that will one day house a IROSA, or ISS Roll-Out Solar Array.
Okay, guys, we're coming up on 2 psi. Koichi, the next action will be for you.
Copy.
Koichi, depress pump, man ISO valve closed.
Depress pump, manual ISO valve closed.
Copy. Koichi on the UIA, switch depress pump power off, OFF.
Depress pump power OFF.
Okay, and with that, I will turn you over to Xena for your initial tether config. Godspeed, you guys are going to crush it.
Awesome. Thank you, Frank and Josh.
Thank you, Josh. You guys are awesome.
Hello, EV1 and EV2. Your ground IV and the whole ground team are here, ready for your tether checks.
Okay, Xena. Starting with EV1, let's start with my left waist tether. Connect to my left D-ring extender, gates closed, sliders locked, black on black. My safety tether connected to my right D-ring extender. Red hook is closed, sliders locked, black on black. Yellow hook is attached to the green reel. Gates closed, sliders locked, black on black. Green hook is attached to the red reel. It's closed and it is unlocked. Both my reels are unlocked. And I have my anchor to my mini workstation. My right waist tether connected to my right D-ring extender. Gates closed, sliders locked, black on black. And Koichi, do you have eyes on your anchor hook to my waist tether?
Yes, my anchor hook is attached to your right waist tether of both hooks. Gate closed, hook locked, black on black. EV2, my left waist tether is attached to the tail lock steering extender, gate closed, hook locked, black on black. The small hook of my left waist tether is attached to my left steering extender, gate closed, hook locked, black on black. My red hook is attached to my left steering extender, gate closed, hook locked, black on black. Yellow hook is attached to the green reel, gate closed, hook locked, black on black. Green hook is attached to the red reel, gate closed, hook is unlocked. And then the anchor hook is attached to, as I reported, to Duke's right waist tether. On my right side, right waist tether, small hook is attached to my right steering extender, gate closed, hook locked, black on black. Report complete.
Copy all, Koichi. If I could just check that your reels are both unlocked.
Both reels are unlocked on EV2.
Copy all, EV1 and EV2. That's a good config for both of you. All right, continuing along with our depress here. When the crew lock DPDT is approximately 0, you can both expect an alert tone.
EV1 copy.
Good copy.
You just heard the voice of our ground IV NASA astronaut Xena Cardman communicating with our spacewalkers. You'll be hearing her voice a lot more as our spacewalkers get out the door today. They just went through the configuration of their hooks and tethers. It's very essential to stay attached to the International Space Station while they're maneuvering all around to their different work sites, retrieving the portable foot restraints that are in their tasks today. Moving out to the 1A work site, it's important that they get all of their hooks configured, not tangled, and in a way that they're able to move freely. And so that's what our ground IV Xena Cardman was going through with them, and it looks like everything is in a good configuration. Depressurization is still underway in the crew lock. We're sitting at about 1 psi going down to vacuum. Doesn't exactly have to be 0.0, but they are going down maybe around 0.5 or so. In the meantime, let's introduce our spacewalkers today. NASA astronaut Nicole Mann is our EV1 in the suit with the red stripes. You may hear her referred to as Duke. And we have Koichi Wakata from Japan. This is his second spacewalk, same as Nicole Mann. They both went on a spacewalk on January 20th to begin the installation on this mod kit, so to speak. It's what the future solar arrays are going to sit on. So this is their second spacewalk, continuing that tasks. Their first one lasted 7 hours and 21 minutes. And this spacewalk is the 259th spacewalk in support of space station assembly, maintenance, and upgrades, and the 6th spacewalk of Expedition 68. We expect depressurization to be done in less than 10 minutes, going from the original pressure of the International Space Station, 14.7, down to 5 when they did their suit check, make sure that there's not any leaks in there. It went pretty quickly, but when we're going from 5 down to vacuum, the process is a little bit more deliberate, more careful. We want to make sure our spacewalkers are healthy and ready for their spacewalk, so we do move a little slower. The crew lock is about 0.8 psi going down to vacuum. We expect NASA astronaut Nicole Mann to be the first out the door today. She'll be followed shortly after by Koichi Wakata, but before Koichi Wakata fully egresses or exits the airlock, he'll be handing some equipment to Nicole Mann that they'll need on today's spacewalk. This includes the mid-strut. Remember that they've already completed most of the structure that they're building today, but they didn't complete the mid-strut. They didn't complete the mid-strut, so they're taking that out with them to their work site. So Wakata will hand Mann the mid-strut. He'll also hand her over a cable bag that they might need later in the spacewalk. And then he himself will egress or exit the space station.
crew, we are less than 0.5 psi. You are go to open the EV hatch and stow.
Good work.
Mission Control has given the go to open the hatch.
Push your feet down.
Yeah, feet down would be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Feet down, yep.
And with the go from Mission Control, our spacewalkers have released a valve that opens up the outer thermal cover.
Okay. Come up a little bit. Yeah, I'm also rolled.
Shortly after this thermal cover is popped open, then the hatch itself, the actual door they egress out of, will open.
I'm going to come down so I can get it latched here.
Okay.
See, can you let go of the feet? I'm going to come my feet
Okay.
back.
All right, let go of your feet.
Okay, the hatch is open and in the hatch key.
Okay, we copy hatches open, and Josh and Frank, you can take the emergency MPEV closed.
Emergency AMPA closed.
Copy, Frank. Okay, crew, on your DCM, switch power to BAT, stagger your switch throws, expect a warning tone.
Inward.
Okay, sorry, ED2 battery.
You already there, Kalisi?
Yeah, sorry, I flipped the...
Okay, no worries. I'm going next.
Okay.
One battery.
Copy, both in battery. Switch your display to Pro to verify a functional display.
EV1 has a good display.
ED2 has good display.
Great news. On the UIA, switch power for EV1 and 2 off.
Or ED1 and ED2 both off. 4 LEDs are off.
Copy, 4 LEDs are off. Disconnect SCU from DCM.
It worked.
And you heard our ground IV today, NASA astronaut Zena Cardman, here in Mission Control with us, talking to our spacewalkers just on the other side of the door that you see there with the window, walking them through some of their procedures before they get out the door. One of them being turning their spacesuits onto battery power, which marks the official start of the spacewalk. And both spacesuits have been switched to battery power.
Okay, for EV1, SCU is disconnected. Throw it in the pouch and the Velcro is tight.
Copy, EV1. You can also install your DCM cover.
DCM cover is installed for EV1.
AV2, this SCU is disconnected and stowed in the pouch, and the DCM cover is attached.
Okay, copy. You both have your SCUs stowed with DCM covers installed. Check depress pump man ISO valve closed.
Depress pump manual ISO valve is closed.
Take your TCV max hot.
North.
In work.
And now that our spacewalkers have turned their suits onto battery power, we have an official spacewalk start time of 6:45 a.m. Central Time, 7:45 a.m. Eastern. This spacewalk is expected to last up to 7 hours to complete installation of a mounting bracket that will one day house an IROSA, or ISS Roll-Out Solar Array, in support of giving the space station a power upgrade.
Max hot for EV1.
AV2 max hot.
Copy max hot. Switch water on.
Water's on for EV1.
Water on.
Copy water on for you both. Check your DCM is blank and bite is off.
DCM blank, bite off, EV1.
DCM blank and bite off EV2.
Okay, take your TCV set as desired. Reminder, report to MCC all subsequent TCV changes.
EV1 in work.
EV2 in work.
EV1 TCV 5.
EV2 TCV 7.
Copy 5 and 7. Okay, report your soup P gauge to MCC.
Soup P gauge, EV1 4.2.
EV2 4.3.
Copy 4.2 and 4.3. Set your visors as required. You'll be coming out into a day pass.
Copy, day pass, visors down.
Visors down, EV2.
As our ground IV NASA astronaut Zena Cardman just relayed up to our spacewalkers, the International Space Station is in an orbital daytime. Space station is currently over the South Pacific Ocean, and it's nice and lit as our spacewalkers get out the door today.
Okay, with that, EV1, you are ready to open the hatch thermal cover. Release the hook from the magnetic plate D-ring, attach the hook to the stowage tether point, and cinch the strap until it's snug with 6 lines visible.
Our spacewalkers have completed steps with our ground IV that they have to do after depressurization. And NASA astronaut Nicole Mann is opening the thermal hatch cover as part of her responsibilities as EV1 today. You can see the motion in the dead center of your screen.
the thermal cover book is temp stowed and 6 lines are visible.
Copy, Duke. You are go to open that thermal cover, egress the airlock, and turn on your HECA.
Okay, thermal cover is open and I'm egressing.
The hatch is open, and with the go from Mission Control Houston, NASA astronaut Nicole Mann, our EV-1, is egressing or exiting the airlock to begin her second spacewalk that began at 6:45 a.m. Central Time.
EV-1 is out of the airlock.
Great work, Duke. You can turn on your HECA. Koichi, you'll get the mid-strut ready to transfer to EV-1.
Okay, HECA's on for EV-1.
Okay, ED copies, and Duke, can you see the strut?
I can. Stand by.
Okay.
NASA astronaut Nicole Mann has exited the airlock. You can see her on your screen in the suit with the red stripes around her thighs.
Let me get my BRT red on.
Okay.
Koichi Wakata is going to now hand her some equipment that they'll need during the course of their spacewalk. You might hear some chatter about turning on their HECAs. This is one of the steps in their procedures. We may occasionally get views from their point of view. Nicole Mann's helmet camera would be listed as number 22. You might see that number burned into some of the screens. That means we're looking at her point of view.
Okay.
Koichi Wakata's helmet camera number 20.
Control, okay.
Have my BRT red to the mid-strut. I'm releasing the airlock red.
Okay.
It's coming back to you.
Okay, copy that. I see that.
We're in a brief handover here in Mission Control, but we expect to get our live views of our spacewalkers back soon.
Your next steps, once you've got that
Let me
red
just get this on
stowed,
my BRT.
will be to transfer the cable bag to
That's
EV-1.
stowed.
Stand by, Koichi.
Okay.
So while we were in that handover, NASA astronaut Koichi Wakata just handed Nicole Mann what she's holding there. That's the mid-strut that they'll need to install later today. And he's in the process of handing her a cable bag that they'll be using towards the end of the spacewalk now. She noted that she'll be stowing the mid-strut on her BRT. That's what she's working on. That refers to the body restraint tether. Like we talked about earlier, they've got a number of tethers and hooks to attach themselves and their equipment to the space station so it doesn't float away.
Okay. Ready to grab the cable bag?
We get one tighten here. Yes, I'm ready for the cable bag.
Okay, here comes the cable bag.
Okay, I see it. Control.
Stand by.
into the airlock.
Okay, so can I release the
You
rest
can
here?
release the airlock apron.
Okay, I'm releasing the reds on the cable bag. Okay, cable bag that is released. Okay, with that, Xena can ED2 also egress.
From Koichi, you can egress the airlock, turn on your HECA, and receive that cable bag from Duke.
Koichi Wakata has successfully handed both the mid-strut and the cable bag over to Nicole Mann. He's set to egress or exit the International Space Station and take that cable bag back from Nicole Mann as soon as he's out. We're not actually installing these cables today on today's spacewalk, but rather these are some get-ahead tasks that they can do to help future spacewalkers get the cables where they need to go without actually plugging them in, making sure they're not tangled and out of the way.
Okay, umbilical is still attached, and it's it looks like umbilical is
The routing okay?
let me check that. Looks like umbilical is routed around. Vestibule of the umbilical, and then
heads up for Koichi.
clear the safety tether.
Koichi, there is a small ret floating free in the airlock. And Koichi, it's IV hatch Zenith, if you get eyes on.
IV hatch Zenith. Yeah, I see it. Dina, can you tell where this came from?
Checking.
Looks like I have all the tethers with me.
I have my two reds with me as well.
Okay, copy. As long as you both have your BRT rets and all of your expected rets on your mini workstation, Koichi, you can secure that ret in the airlock. If you prefer, you can also take it out with you.
Unless there's a need for that, I will stow this in the airlock.
Koichi, we recommend actually bringing it with you if you want to attach it to your mini workstation or to a bag.
Okay. Okay, that's complete. And then I'm going to clear the umbilical.
NASA astronaut Nicole Mann is there in the upper middle of your screen in the spacesuit with the red stripes. She's carrying some equipment with her. Japanese astronaut Koichi Wakata is still in the airlock, working his way on getting all of the equipment that he needs and working on egressing or exiting the airlock.
Okay, umbilical is now clear.
Great job, Koichi. And just let us know if you're grabbing that red and taking it with you.
Yes, I'm not taking the red with me. And I reattach the VU pouch onto the airlock. So, tether is in a good config.
Okay, copy. And did you just stash the red on your mini workstation?
Yes, it's on my mini workstation.
Perfect. Thanks so much.
Okay, no problem coming out. Okay, stand still, touched. My left. Is there? Okay. You got it, thank you.
We're getting a view of the spacewalk from NASA astronaut Nicole Mann's point of view as Koichi Wakata exits the airlock. Starting to get some Earth views as well from her point of view. The International Space Station is flying over Chile at the moment.
I am headed to the cable bag. And then via key, the jaws closed, paddles out. And I'm going to turn on the hecker right now. Hecker. I see hecker green LED on now. Okay, so Duke, you can let go. Yeah,
Release the bag.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Release.
Thank you.
Koichi Wakata now receiving the cable bag. He had initially handed it to Nicole Mann just to egress, and is now taking it back.
Good config outside the airlock. Koichi, we'll get your HECA turned on. I think you did already, and then we'll take buddy checks.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, Koichi, I've got 2 green lights for you. I see your helmet lights on. I've got 1, 2, and can I see your right? I'm trying to see your right tab. I might flip your camera up a little bit.
Can you see it?
Okay, I got 1, 2, 3 tabs up, yes. Spacebar handles. Your left one is down. Your right one, can you move your PDP out? That one looks like it's up a little bit if you push down on your right paper handle.
It's fully down. Could you verify?
Yep, let me look. Okay, both your paper handles are down.
Okay.
I see the bag on your BRT, and I see all of our tethers in front of us. They look good.
Okay, I'll check yours. So I see Becker LED is on, WDS LED is on, mini workstation tabs up, BRT tab is up. I see your left right safer handle, and then B. Then I both safer handles are down. Weather is good, and then I see the mid strut, and looks good.
Okay.
Copy you both. That's a good check. We'll take a baseline HAP as well.
Yeah, I got a dry baseline HAP for EV1.
EV2 has the same dry baseline HAP.
And stand by for you both. We may have you just check Koichi's safer handle door. Check that the door did not actually come open.
Okay. The door is closed on his safer. Let me know if you need if you have a good view in the HECA.
Okay, Duke and Koichi, we copy that. We trust your eyes on. And with that, Duke, you can translate to the anchor location. That's at the S1, S3 interface just below the starboard seated cart. As you start translating, just a couple cautions. Avoid contact with radiators and flex hoses, and don't contact the TUS cables.
You doing copies? I'm headed out.
And after completing their buddy checks, they are off onto their work sites. During these buddy checks, Koichi Wakata and Nicole Mann checked out their counterparts, made sure that the green lights were on their cameras, as well as some others. They also checked out their safer handles. Remember safer we talked about earlier in the coverage, safer being the simplified aid for EVA rescue. That's these backpacks they're wearing on their backs.
Copy, Duke. And Koichi,
In the unlikely event that they're separated from the space station, these safers can get them back.
Okay, copy that.
In the unlikely event that they do get separated from the space station, there's a button that deploys both spacewalkers, and we confirm that they are, and so now they're off to their work site.
And Koichi, if you could also tend the hatch thermal cover closed, that would help us a lot.
Yeah, it worked.
Okay, Koichi, I'm putting a 4-man spray leader at the top of the Diva spur.
Okay, great. Thank you, Duke.
You're getting the point of view of Japanese astronaut Koichi Wakata as he works to close the thermal hatch cover. Meanwhile, Nicole Mann is off to her work site. You may have heard them discuss the S1, S3. In terms of orientation of the space station, this refers to the starboard side. Of course, in space, it's tricky to find your way around, so they do use starboard and port, just like on a ship.
Not at starboard. You know, what's my mile marker?
Checking on that mile marker, Duke. It'll be right at the S1, S3 interface. I'll get you a mile marker.
Okay.
So S1 is pretty close to the center of the space station, and when you get more towards the outer edges, they refer to that as the S6.
And Duke, looks like 5760 or so for the mile marker.
5760, perfect.
This is the point of view of NASA astronaut Nicole Mann. Japanese astronaut Koichi Wakata is still at the airlock, but he'll join her shortly.
Copy, Duke. You'll attach your EV1 anchor hook to S1 handrail 3217. And that's the smaller diagonal one.
Okay, I see 3217. EV1 anchor hook is attached to 3217. Gates closed, sliders locked, black on black.
Copy, Duke. You can now attach Koichi's EV2 anchor hook to S3 handrail 3011. That's the slightly longer vertical handrail.
Copy.
Now that both spacewalkers are outside of the hatch, they're working on setting up their work sites, Nicole Mann, making her way over and setting up some anchor hooks. You may hear about these anchor hooks throughout our coverage. It has to do with moving around the space station and configuring your tethers.
Anchor.
You could kind of think of it sort of like rock wall climbing, if you're familiar. You have your anchor right at the top and you have your rope supporting you. You're free to move left, right, up, and down, but your anchor hook stays the same. Part of their task today is to relocate some of these anchor hooks a little later.
V2's anchor is connected to 3011. Gates closed, sliders locked, black on black.
Copy, Duke. And standby crew, Koichi, we're seeing your safer door is actually popping open. We'll get words to you in just a moment.
Copy.
Okay, crew. We actually recommend that Duke head back to the airlock to help Koichi with that safer door. You can leave the anchor hooks where they are, and Duke, head back to the airlock.
Okay, EV1 copy.
Japanese astronaut Koichi Wakata here at the airlock, the center of your screen, working on closing the hatch.
Is it partially open or is it deployed?
Just the door is partially open. And so I think if we have Duke translate back to you to help get that door closed again, that'll be better than having us possibly have that become even more open and actually deploy the safer.
Okay, that sounds good.
Stand by to back, Koichi.
Okay. It looks like the fail lead is...
I can help.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Actually, what's done on the CETA sport, right?
At the very top of it, like right below that CETA cart.
Oh, okay.
That's where I put it.
We're back to the point of view of NASA astronaut Nicole Mann.
Okay.
She's heading back to Koichi Wakata, who is at the airlock working on closing the hatch door. Part of Koichi Wakata's safer unit, that backpack that he wears on his back, is popped open. It's really difficult to reach behind you in these spacesuits, so Nicole Mann is making her way back to help him pop that back into place.
And Koichi, while you're there, you can release your waist tether from the airlock D-ring extender and close that thermal cover.
Copy that, teamwork. Okay, my left waist tether is that's from the airlock D-ring extender, and the thermal cover is now closed.
Okay, copy.
Okay, Koichi, it looks like that safety tether did not hold at the top of the CETA spur. It is clear of me now, though. It is station starboard.
Okay.
Coming down the CETA spur, Koichi.
Okay.
Nicole Mann now re-entering your frame on the left side of the screen. She is now with Koichi Wakata at the airlock.
Orientation for you to access the safer door.
Let me take a look here.
Hey, Duke, your feet are caught on Koichi's safety tether. Just watch out there. They're currently behind your calves.
Okay, now it's clear.
Okay. I think I'll stay here by
Nice
coming
work.
down lower since...
Okay.
Let me get a logo down, Koichi, and then I'll have you get in a good position.
Okay. I'm going to go here.
And just some words for you guys as you're getting set up. A reminder, there's a pin for that safer handled door, the safer door that's going to have to go back into a hole. And so I would recommend that, Duke, you hold the door closed, pull up slightly on that safer handle, and then fully close the door and try to reseat the handle in order to get that handle back in the pin.
Okay. Koichi, can you go on your back more? Just lift your hips a little more. towards me. Okay, that's good.
Okay.
The safer unit is in the center of your screen there, so you see the American flag, NASA logo. Behind it, we have the safer unit that's not designed for use during the spacewalk, but in the unlikely event that they get untethered, they can use this device to get them back to the space station. Koichi Wakata's is being a little sticky, so Nicole Mann is assisting get it into the right configuration.
Hey, yeah, it was like the tiniest bit out. I pushed it, pulled up and then down, and I felt it click in, and now it looks totally flush.
Nicole Mann's point of view now.
Guys. We're checking in your HECA views. Sounds like a good config. Thanks so much.
Hey, Duke.
Yep.
Okay, and then I see your safety tether is good config and mine is
Okay, my safety tether is going in front of my leg.
in front of your leg.
Okay, perfect. And yours will keep it off to my right.
Great. Okay.
All right, Gina, am I good to head back out?
Affirm, Duke, you can head back out, and then Koichi, since your anchor hooks are all set up out there, you can follow Duke. Just keep a little bit of distance, try to deconflict those safety tethers.
See that.
Yeah, that's to wait till I get past our anchors. Or I don't know, as long as you can keep an eye on it, Koichi.
Okay. See that.
Koichi, I'm going up to Cedar Spur.
Okay, I'll follow you.
And with that, both of our spacewalkers are out on their way to the work site. This work site being the 1A power channel on the International Space Station, where they're completing their work installing a support structure, a mod kit, if you will.
Okay, I'm coming up on the Cedar Spur now. I see your safety tether.
Okay, pause right there, Koichi. Let me just get past you here.
Okay, I pause here.
This work site that they're heading out to, they'll find...
One, head to starboard, you're clear.
Okay, yep.
Out at their work site at the 1A power channel, they'll find a structure kind of similar to a pyramid that one day the IROSA's rollout solar arrays will rest on. They're almost completed with it, but not quite done. What you're seeing on your screen now is a visual of the mod kit that they're finishing up today. It's made up of 6 struts and 1 mounting bracket where the solar array will go. That's in the blue. Of course, the real thing's not colorful like our graphic here, but for the sake of explaining, check out the pink upper triangle and the blue mounting bracket. These are already complete.
Your S4 work site. Before you cross
on the bottom, in the gray, you'll see the lower strut. It's installed, but it needs the lower bolt on the left lower strut to be checked out. they'll need to troubleshoot on that bottom bolt to finish the job. And then the orange line in the center of the graphic is the mid strut. And today they'll need to completely install the mid strut, and that's what Nicole Mann is carrying with her. While troubleshooting this lower strut, they'll need to make sure that there's no gap between the strut and the physical bearing. They'll essentially want to confirm that the two pieces they've connected are flush and not angled with an uneven gap. They'll also do a wiggle test on the same piece of hardware to make sure that the bearing moves with the strut. They want to see that the bolt and the bolt canister can move together, that the bearing and the strut move together.
Outboard on the non-radiator side of the IEA.
I am headed upward.
Could you see that at the anchor point of the safety tether?
Okay, I should be clear. View, Koichi.
Okay, I see your safety tether, so it's clear. I'm going to continue to translate.
Okay, just be aware, since I'm on this side, it goes a little bit zenith, like a little above your head, so just keep an eye on it.
Roger that, I see that.
Great deconfliction, guys.
And Zena, my gauntlets are in place.
Copy, Koichi, gauntlets in place. And as you translate outboard, also please don't translate on the radiator base handrail. And Koichi,
I have a local down, and I'm going to test show the mid-strut.
Copy, Duke. You'll be looking for S4 handrail 2231. Koichi, we recommend fair leading at S4 handrail 2213.
S4 2213, copy.
And that's after you cross over to the radiator side. And then once you're on the radiator side, you'll be heading outboard to the keel pin.
Okay. There's a cross. Yeah, okay, copy that.
So I want to take a minute to go over some of the directional cues that you might be hearing.
On 2214.
Copy, fair lead on 2214. That's looking good. We've got a great view in your Heka.
Okay, great.
So if you hear an S or a P, we're going to be talking a lot about the S today. It's the starboard side of the space station. It's paired with a number, S1 being very close to the center of the space station, S6 being as far out as you can go. We're also hearing the words like inboard and outboard. Inboard means you're moving towards the center of the space station, and our ground IV, Zena Cardman, has told them to go outboard, meaning more towards the outer edge of the space station.
Okay, I'm at the work site, the handrail 2235.
Okay, copy. 2235 is exactly where you'll be stowing that cable bag.
Okay.
Reminder, you'll want that handrail toward the non-radiator side.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got the mid-strut and adjustable down to handrail 2231.
Perfect.
Releasing my BRT red.
Copy. And once you're done with that, we'll have you get in position near the lower strut. Duke, once you're happy with that mid-strut, we'll have you head over to the lower strut and actually get your eyes on. We'll take a wiggle and gap check from you. We've got a couple seconds to do a handover here.
You want me to stay on the right strut, though, right?
So we'd actually like you to just head to the left side, since we've got Koichi stowing that cable bag. Yeah, we're coming up on a sunset.
Okay, cable bag is stowed at the handrail 2235.
We're in a brief handover period now. The space station in orbital daytime as it flies over Ukraine, nearing an orbital nighttime. So for this reason, our ground IV and spacewalking group here on the ground in mission control that you're seeing now have asked Nicole Mann to take a look at the lower strut. Remember, we're talking about two different components that they have left to install of this structure. They want to check out the lower strut
that cable bag
and totally install the mid-strut.
Also head out to the left lower strut.
NASA astronaut Nicole Mann has stowed the mid-strut, and now she's working on inspecting the lower strut.
We want to get both of your eyes on and get those wiggle and gap checks done as soon as possible. So we'll have you both heading over to the left lower.
I believe I'm just going to go outboard of the APFR.
Copy, Duke. I like that plan. We'll leave the deconfliction up to your eyes.
Okay. Okay.
You've got a view of the ladies in charge of the room here. In the middle of your screen in the black blazer and the darker hair is Chloe Maring, our flight director today. And the woman just to her right is, with the blonde hair and the black blazer, that is NASA astronaut Zena Cardman, and you are hearing her voice communicating the plans of our spacewalking team here in Mission Control relayed to the crew through Zena Cardman. We're back with our live views now. NASA astronaut Nicole Mann is going to get started checking out the lower strut that they're working on, doing a couple of tests while we're in an orbital daytime.
Okay, I'm at the lower strut M21 area.
I'm here as well. Hopefully you have a good HECA here.
That's perfect. We'll be following along in your HECAs. Just a couple quick cautions. No sudden movements on the mass canister, and no big lateral loads. Maximum load is 50 pounds. Avoid cyclic loading, and don't impart forces into the mod kit until we've got those collar bolts tightened.
You can pull that MRI back a little more, please, so I can get better eyes on the bolt.
Okay, I'm going to peel off. Okay, I see about that. Okay. Do you have a good heck of you, Zena? I don't see a gap between the strut and then the spherical bearing. The spherical bearing does not have any gap.
Okay, we copy. A good gap check.
You have a good heck of you.
We're
okay. You see that
taking a look now? Yeah. Give us just a couple of moments to analyze. All right, Koichi, we are definitely happy with that gap check. We'll have you also perform a wiggle test.
See that did work?
Perfect. And just a reminder, we're looking for, if they move, that the bolt and bolt canister move together, and if they move, that the bearing and strut move together.
Okay.
I didn't see any movement from here.
I didn't see that either. Let me push it. Okay, that was a little bit, and then the bolt head and the canister bolt can move together, and then strut and the circle bearing move together.
I see that movement.
We copy all, Koichi. We do see that. That sounds like a good check for us. We're just verifying with all of the interested parties.
Okay.
So some good news here in Mission Control. Our spacewalkers performed both a gap check and a wiggle check.
Okay,
the gap check making sure that the items that they've installed lay flush and are not angled in any way, misaligned. They've also done the wiggle test to confirm that the bolt and the bolt canister and the bearing and the strut move together. We had troubleshooting options that the team has worked on this week in the event that either the gap or the wiggle check, one or the other didn't work, but according to our spacewalkers, both the gap and the wiggle test are good. The strut is fully installed.
Copy, Duke.
So I'm going to install the NLI cover and then give you the report.
No problem, Koichi.
Can I work to get this strut back on my BRT?
And Duke A-firm, you can get the mid-strut and put it on your BRT.
So this is some good news. The lower strut is installed and installed properly. However, the work is not entirely done on it. In order to get to this bolt that they had the questions on, they had to take off some multi-layer insulation, and now they're just going to work to put that back on. This, of course, protects the hardware from the rough environment of space.
The big picture update for you both. For your SA, we are currently 30 minutes ahead of the timeline, so amazing work there. And our limiting consumables with MEDOX put us at a PET of about 725.
Good news.
Copy that. Yes, does it look good to you, this NLI? From this side, it looks like it's covering the lower strut. Is this side already covered?
No, that side is not covered.
Is that right?
I don't know if it'll fold, if it folds out a little bit. Here you go. Yeah, just one more little fold. Just that corner that your finger's on now.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah. Okay. Now that covers it. Yeah.
Okay, great. Is it still covered?
Yeah, that looks very good.
Okay, great. Okay. And Zena, are you happy with the NLI here on the lower strut at M21?
We are indeed. We're happy with that MOI on M21, and we'll take a glove, hat, and gauntlet check from you.
Okay, glove is good, and the happy is the baseline.
Copy, Koichi. And check that your gauntlets are down as well.
Gauntlets are still down.
And the first task of the day is now complete already. The spacewalk began at 6:45 a.m. Central Time. They headed out to their work site on the 1A power channel, where they found this support structure. They had built it during their previous EVA earlier this month, but they still had a couple of items left on their to-do list, including checking out one of the bolts on this lower strut. They did 2 tests on it, a gap check and a wiggle check, and right on the first try, both of them were successful. So now they're moving on to their next task, which is completely installing the mid strut. So if you'll remember, they had already begun work on the lower strut and they just needed to do one more evaluation, but they do need to completely install the mid strut. That's what they're working on now.
Release the adjustable and start edit to the APFR.
Perfect, Duke. You can head to the APFR, you'll extend the ingress aid and ingress the APFR.
So you just heard Xena Cardman let our spacewalker here in the red suit, the suit with the red stripes, Nicole Mann, ingress the APFR.
Good news, EV2, you can head to the cable bag and you'll grab the TBA bag from that cable bag, stow it on your mini workstation, and then translate to the left side pad install.
So what exactly is this APFR? Well, it stands for Articulating Portable Foot Restraint. It's essentially a foothold that can be installed at a workstation. You can imagine that working in microgravity, it can be difficult not to float around while you're working with your tools. And the foot restraint holds keep the spacewalker in place. And it really frees up their hands as well.
If you'll remind me to grab it off before I hand it to Koichi.
Sometimes a foot restraint is installed to the end of the robotic arm, and the astronaut can be driven around to different work sites, sometimes carrying bulky items. The robotic arm won't be used in today's spacewalk, but they'll use foot restraints in this area that were already set up for them at their work site earlier this month.
Local to the ingress aid.
Copy, Duke.
Okay, Duke, shall I forego the GoPro?
If you want to put it on the handrail right there, you said, yeah.
Okay, I'll put it in there.
We are now 1 hour into our spacewalk today. We are now in an orbital nighttime here aboard the International Space Station. You see that glowing line there, that's actually the Earth. And what are our spacewalkers up to? Well, our EV1, NASA astronaut Nicole Mann, is getting into her APFR, or portable foot restraint. Kind of holds her in place at her workstation so she can begin installation on the mid-strut. Meanwhile, Japanese astronaut Koichi Wakata is stowing the cable bag that he brought out earlier.
Magnet effector is attached to the handrail next to the cable bag and then locked.
Copy, Koichi.
Xena, can you confirm the APFR settings? I think we had adjusted them before we had left, so but I think I need a roll of hotel.
Checking, Duke. Hotel, Yaw 12.
Okay, that's a roll of hotel and a yacht of 12.
Heads up, quick handover in about 10 seconds.
We're in a brief handover period as we work to regain communication with our satellites, both video and audio. For now, you have live views of Mission Control Houston, where teams are supporting a spacewalk outside of the International Space Station with NASA astronaut Nicole Mann and Japanese astronaut Koichi Wakata. They're finishing up work that they started on during a previous EVA back in January. They're installing a modification kit or a support structure that will one day house a roll-out solar array. They've already completed their first task of the day and are slightly ahead of schedule.
Okay, copy. And you've got the GoPro set up on 2230? Copy, that's great. Okay, on your way out to the side pad location, reminder to Fairlead on S5 handrail 2108. That's a long horizontal handrail just below the mast canister, basically 2 handrails further outboard from 2230.
This 1A power channel mod kit. This mod kit launched on Northrop Grumman's 18th Commercial Resupply Services mission, and Cygnus delivered them back in November.
Looks like it's not going to stay here. Enough. Okay, dude. Okay, all right, I'm watching.
Okay, let me just get up there.
Okay. Okay, so you're left. But yeah, you're almost in the loop now. Left side is loop, now it's coming off. Go a little more forward.
While our spacewalkers are getting ready to start work installing the mid-strut portion, the last piece of the puzzle for this support structure that they're building today in this part 2 of a spacewalk. If you have any questions about today's operation, be sure to submit them using hashtag AskNASA, and we'll try to answer them on air.
Yep. Go forward.
What's the left toe?
Left toe is not in completely. Now you're in, and it looks like the heel is now down on the heel, but still on the heel guide.
Copy.
You need to push it into now and then right left. You go there.
Copy.
Nicole Mann is now in position, successfully inside of her portable foot restraints at the work site. Koichi Wakata is configuring his tethers and equipment that he brought out, making sure it's out of the way but still within reach, and then he'll begin work on it as well.
Okay, left. Left toe is 6 inches in. You push it further. Okay, then let me go behind the APFR. Okay. Come in. Okay. Heel down. Okay. Left toe in, push it in. Left heel.
This view that we're looking at now is what they're working on. This is the mod kit or support structure that will one day house IROSAs or ISS rollout solar arrays.
Left toe in further. Okay, now left heel down. Okay, further down. Further down.
The round part that you're seeing there is the mast canister, and that's what they need to install the mid-strut to.
Almost. Push it down. Okay, now left heel out. Now you're in. Okay, you're in.
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I'm good.
Okay, good. Okay, all right. Then I'm going to come out. Great.
During part 1 of this spacewalk, one of the plates that's at the end of the that's at the end of the mid-strut didn't quite sit flush against the mast canister. There were some components in the way, perhaps some insulation. So the ground team has worked all week on some troubleshooting measures, and Koichi Wakata and Nicole Mann are working on those now.
My 57 is still in good config.
The white covering that you see on these struts, that's the MLI, the multi-layer insulation. They're working to peel that back so they have a good view of the worksite.
Off with the mid-pad. I sold my BRT rec to it.
Copy, Duke. Great work. Okay. We'll also have you remove the locking pit pin from the mid-strut.
Okay, Gina, that's the TDA bag at the mid position of the wine glass of the handrail, the vertical handrail.
Copy, Koichi. That's a great spot for that TBA bag. We can get to work on that side pad interface. You'll clear the MLI from the GSE fixtures on the left and right side. And Duke, for that pip pin, once you've got that removed, check that the washer is behind the detents.
Okay, the washer is behind the detent.
Perfect. You can extend the mid-strut, and once Koichi's in place, you'll work with him.
You just heard NASA astronaut Zena Cardman give Nicole Mann the okay to extend the mid-strut.
So that's the MLI first?
Yeah, we'll have Koichi working on the MLI. Duke, you can help him by reporting when the MLI is clear of the side pad side slots.
So this mid-strut is telescopic, meaning it can be extended out like a telescope. So it does have some tolerance during installation.
Mid-strut, reminder, you can also lock out your ret with slack in order to avoid any additional side loads.
Okay.
I think safety tether, it's kind of difficult to sail these down along handrail, but I think now it's not in the way for Duke, so I'm going to continue with this safety tether config.
Okay, yeah, I see it's this side of the cable bag. When I head down there, I'll remind me when I head down, Zena. I'm going to have to move his safety tether.
Copy you both. Koichi will be watching in your HECA view, and just give us words once you've got the right side and the left side GSE pad clear of the MLI and the Velcro re-engaged.
Okay. Copy that. I'm going to start with the right side, following the text and video that you together.
We'll all be humming a song down here. Copy.
Oh, yes. Actually, he was interfering. I see this MLI, that's because of the interference.
So to recap where we're at now, our spacewalkers Koichi Wakata and Nicole Mann are starting to install the mid-strut, the last piece that they need to install to complete the support structure needed for a future solar array. Right now they're working on peeling back the layers of multi-layer insulation so that they have a good view of the work site.
For the installation?
It looks
great. It looks much better from this angle, too.
Stunning in our view. Great work. We'll have you work on the left side as well. And just a reminder about that grounding strap.
Left side is obviously, left side has enough clearance as far as the distance from the receptacle bracket, but as you mentioned, that they need to have some slack at the top of this area, so I'm going to relocate a little bit.
Copy, Koichi.
But as far as this
And yeah, as long as that MLI is fully clear of this slot, we're happy.
Okay, copy.
Wakata has successfully removed the multi-layer insulation on the right side and is working on the left side.
Okay, it looks like first the clearance. I think I have enough clearance. The MLI to the bracket. You think, Duke?
I think it looks good.
Okay, all right. With that, then I will try to attach the side pad. You agree, Zena?
I do agree. We are ready for that side pad.
Great. Great.
And once you receive it from Duke, and
Okay, side pad.
Duke has her RET locked out, we'll take some inspections of the tape on the side detents.
Okay, reminder, Koichi, that the RET locking is at your end, so I'll have to pass it a little further to you.
Okay, roger that. And I'm going to push those plungers once again before I install it.
Now with that multi-layer insulation out of the way, they're going to move on to the troubleshooting measures. They had attempted to install this mid-strut during their previous spacewalk, but ran into some issues getting it flush up against that mass canister. So now they're going to try some of the fixes that the ground came up with.
Right.
Yeah, there's the boxes on your end.
Yeah, I can, yeah. But we can leave it now, right?
We're going to lock it out.
Okay, that's right, right. Okay, it's locked.
Okay, yeah.
All right, plunger is set.
Copy.
All right.
And yeah, just make sure you have enough slack in that RET before you locked it out.
There's a lot of slack, yeah.
Yes.
Perfect.
All right, here we go.
They're getting ready to install the first side, that's the far side or the topmost part of your screen, to the mass canister. The mass canister is that big cylindrical bit that you see on your screen there.
Yeah.
Koichi Wakata is taking lead on the install of this side of the mass canister.
And hey, Koichi, from our view, it looks like maybe it is pitched toward you a little bit so that the bottom detent is engaged, but the top detent is not quite engaged. We can also install that adjustable to help and just give it a little...
Okay, let me try that. Okay.
Yeah, looks like it's coming off now.
All right. Okay. You recommend using the adjustable at this side?
I do, yes.
Okay, I'll try that.
They're in the process of installing one side of the mid-strut to the mast canister. It's laying flush and is good, and now they're working on soft docking it, which appears to be successful. So in a soft dock, you get everything lined up and flush before they're able to hard dock or drive the bolts into it.
Install your BRT on that vertical handrail there, and that way you can get two hands on the side pad if you need.
Actually, I already have BRT.
Copy.
And it's, yeah, I've been using that. It's already tightened, but still it does not give me stable enough condition, but I'll try. Okay, adjustable is attached to the long handrail, and I'm cinching it down.
Copy, and you'll need the right side to be engaged as you're cinching the left side.
See that? Duke, let's try that again.
Okay.
So, okay. Looks like it's partially engaged, and it's already fully cinched.
Okay, copy. The right side is engaged, and the adjustable is cinched. It looks like the right side is not engaged if it's coming off that far. And from the view that I have, it does still look like the top detent is not engaging.
You've got a view now of the mast canister, and in the middle of the screen, that pole that you see there is the mid-strut that they're trying to install. You see the plate at the very end of the mid-strut? That's what they're trying to lay flush up against.
I'm going to let go the adjustable. So this side is free end.
Okay, I'm holding on to it.
Yeah, okay, that's great. And then
Gonna move the strut out of your way, down or something?
it's good, it's good.
Okay.
It's good.
They're doing a number of troubleshooting measures now here in Mission Control, relaying them to the crew. One is to move around the multi-layer insulation, which you just saw the pair of hands doing there.
Okay, copy, Koichi.
Okay. Okay, I have VRT, and then it's tightened. Okay.
Do you have the adjustable down still?
Adjustable is here, so I'm going to attach the adjustable once again.
Okay. Just wondering if it would help if I actually let go so that there were no pushes from this end.
Let go. The adjustable is not attached yet.
The adjustable is on the handrail, but not on the side pad yet, Duke.
Right.
And Koichi, once you do reattach it, we recommend putting that adjustable with both hooks to the tether loop on the side pad. Otherwise, you won't get enough slack out of that adjustable in order to really cinch it tight.
Copy that. Okay, looks like it's our right side is engaged, looks like.
Copy. And we're doing really well on time, so if you want to take any moments to readjust your BRT or anything, I wonder if you take your BRT and come at that handrail from the left side instead of the right side. It'll help you get in a better position.
Left side or from the right side?
Yeah, see how your the jaws of your BRT are coming from the right to the left to that handrail? If you come from the opposite direction, it may get you in a better position for the left side detents.
Oh, okay. 180 out from this position?
Yeah, correct. But I'll leave it to your hands-on expertise since you are actually there.
Okay, okay. Okay. 180 out does not work, so I'm going to change 90 degrees out.
Copy, Koichi.
All right. I will relocate the adjustable with my red.
Following the part 1 of the spacewalk on January 20th, ground teams here in Mission Control were able to come up with a number of troubleshooting items for this mid-strut. This includes using tethers or various tools at their disposal to help get this mid-strut installed. They've got a checklist of things that they can move down, trying one after the other, if necessary, until the soft dock is complete.
And pulling on it in order to get kind of an up and down wiggle motion on the left side while keeping tension on the right side without taking it around the handrail.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm doing now, and then like it doesn't go in.
Copy.
Well, it looks like it's right side seems to be partially engaged or completely engaged, but the left side doesn't go in. Flanger doesn't go in.
Okay, Koichi. Let's have you take the adjustable, the other end of that hook, bring it back to the side pad tether loop.
Okay.
Get it cinched so that the right side stays engaged, and then we'll try the hammer. It's hammer time.
See that? Okay, yeah, that's the adjustable.
Moving on to the next tool at their disposal, some of the troubleshooting items here, they used a adjustable equipment tether on the handrail to try to get that into place. Now we're moving on to using one of the hammers that they have in their toolbox.
Okay, I will use the hammer then. How's it going, Duke?
Good.
All right.
Let me know if I need to position this better, but it looks like it's pretty solid.
Yeah, it looks like it's the right side is engaged. The left side doesn't go in, so let me...
You can see Wakata reaching for his hammer now.
Yeah, that's good words for me both, and it's really looking like that top detent is just not going in, so I think that's a good place to start. Koichi, once you've got that hammer and you're tethered to the hammer, just a reminder, we'll start with some gentle taps. The maximum load on the BGA is 50 pounds, and wait 30 seconds between attempts.
Copy.
You'll also avoid the bolt heads as you hammer.
Okay, so I'm not going to release the wrench from the hammer, just keep it in the TVA bag.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, and then tap every 30 seconds. Maximum 50 pounds. Okay, I applied one light hit, but no change. Okay, so about 30 seconds.
And just a reminder, you'll want to hammer kind of right where the tip of that arrow is. You're aiming for that upper detent.
Okay, copy that.
You're seeing the point of view of Japanese astronaut Koichi Wakata on a spacewalk to install a support structure to hold solar arrays one day. He's working on the mid-strut. It's the thing you see in your upper rightmost corner of your screen. That's the insulation there. As well, sometimes underneath his hammer, you'll see something with an arrow. That is what he's trying to soft dock with the mass canister. You can see he's tried a number of troubleshooting items. There's a tether in place there, kind of pulling it into place. And now he's using his hammer to try to get into place as well.
Okay. Like it went in a little bit.
The goal here is for the mid-strut to lay flush and soft dock so that the bolts can be driven and it can stay locked into place.
Okay. Looks like the lower side is more engaging. The upper side did not go in. Should I hit the lower side again, or should I hit the upper side on the arrow?
Sounds like we're making some good progress. We might try alternating between the two, see if you can get any more progress on the upper.
Okay, copy. Teamwork.
Wakata is relaying what he's seeing down to the how best to soft dock the piece of equipment that he's working to get into place.
Go the upper side once again. Upper side doesn't go in. It seems to me that I need to use the pliers.
Okay, copy, Koichi. We'll have you try the pliers.
Okay, copy.
And yeah, big picture, we want, as you're looking at the side pad, a little bit of gentle rolling motion as you're trying to wiggle it on. Just see if you can kind of walk those detents in place. And so if needed, we can have Duke from her end do a pitch, so body up and down from her end as you're trying to work the detents in place.
Okay, yeah, that would be helpful. Did you do the pitch? Not the, I would say, so make this side pad go this way. Know what I mean?
So that would be a yaw from my perspective.
So your body is kind of offset, but that's the yaw, but no, that's not the orientation. Build the rod in this orientation.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the.
Koichi Wakata trying a number of items to get this mid-strut installed and soft docked to the mass canister. He's used some tethers to help kind of pull it into place. He's used his hammer to also try to get it flush there as well, which made some progress. But now he's going to move on to using some pliers that he has out there at his disposal. You can see them on your screen now.
Okay, Gina, do you see the gap on my right side here?
It's in shadow right now.
I'm pointing at...
I do see it, yes.
Okay, I'm pointing... Okay. Fire, and because of this gap on this side, the left side doesn't have any gap, so it's really tight on the left side where I'm pointing at now. It seems to be that somehow the right side needs to engage further to the left, because there's some gap here.
I see what you mean. Okay. Checking, Koichi.
Seems to me that we may need to use a hammer to hit on this right side so that this side pad will shift to my left.
Copy, Koichi. Let's think on that for just a second. Is it vertically oriented in the middle of that GSE pad? Like, is it able to slide down at all? Maybe it's interfering with the top of the slot where the tongue is supposed to fit in.
It's hard to tell if it's proper vertical location or not. But it seems to me that it's engaged in that position. So.
Copy. So if it doesn't slide up and down anymore, then the tongue must be in a good position.
So
okay.
It is engaged. Yeah, it looks like it.
Okay, copy. We like your idea of using the hammer to gently tap on that upper right corner of the side pad.
This area. I'm pointing up with my right hand, right index finger.
Yeah, Koichi, what you're pointing at is where you will want to tap gently with the hammer.
Okay.
And Duke, we can have you let go of your end as well to alleviate any side loads that may be imparted. Koichi, while you're tapping with the hammer, you'll try to push in on the left side as well.
You can see that silver box there at the center of your screen. That's a piece of equipment that they're trying to lay flush against the mass canister.
BRT as tightened down as you can. You could use your mini workstation end effector maybe if that helps you, but you'll need something to react against so that you can be pushing on the left side.
BRT tightened and then Yeah, looks like the right side is probably engaged in appropriate position.
Copy, Koichi. Stand by.
Okay.
All right, Koichi, we are talking it down here. If we could get your best big picture summary of what you think is going on, what might be interfering, whether it's the side pad itself, if it's the detents, and I think you got that bottom detent engaged before. Is that correct?
No, it's not very positive. I don't think it was engaged. It seems to me that the detent is not interference. Just the width of the side pad may not be big enough, and then so I'm still not 100% sure if the detents are preventing from this installation or not.
Okay, copy.
I am using the.
Do you think the lip of the side pad is actually hitting the GSE side pad structure?
Actually, that's also a negative. Looks like it's this left side, the lip is already engaged on the left side of this structure. So. So interference seems to me that it's probably the detent, like from here, but the detent, even if I push it down, it does not, even if I push down the detent, still, it does not engage. Is it possible to tighten M1 and M4?
Checking, Koichi.
I may give more room for M1 and M3 to engage. At this time, can I engage M1 and M3 with hand tight with the MS2?
Yeah, Koichi, we do not recommend that. We'll not start engaging any bolts until we have those detents in place.
Copy that. Copy that. So, any other actions that I can take?
Koichi Wakata reporting what he can see, what he has tried, as well as giving his own recommendations to the crew here in Mission Control. They're weighing their options and talking as a group and sending some recommendations up his way.
Can I, Nina, can I release it and see what kind of interference structurally I can see? Maybe I can answer some of the questions that you have.
Yeah, we like that idea, Koichi. Let's have you do that, and we'll be talking some solutions here on the ground.
Okay, copy that. Then I'm going to loosen the adjustable and then detach the side pad, see what kind of interference it has. I'm going to release one adjustable from the...
You need me to hold on to it, Queasy?
It's okay. You can, yeah, that's likely...
The view you're getting now is the spacesuit with the red stripes is NASA astronaut Nicole Mann. She's holding the other end of the mid-strut while Koichi's working on that gray square, working it to get flush against the mast canister.
When the detent goes in, there are scratches where the detents go to, so detents are obviously interfering. So it seems to me that, again,
Copy.
Releasing the detents, pushing the detents is the way to go. And looking at from the side pad side, I don't see any interference on this side. So, like it is the detent. And then I guess we need to, I need to stabilize my body position and then apply a stable force for the plunger, and then try that. But we have different Can you tend it now, the mid-strut?
Yeah, give me a second.
Okay.
It looks like you got the right side back in, huh?
Right side is in because of the because we clear the MMI, but the left side doesn't go in now because of the detent.
If you're just joining us this morning, two astronauts are out on a spacewalk to complete installation of a mod kit or mounting bracket for future solar arrays. They started work on this back on January 20th, and they're back out for their second spacewalk to complete their work. The first time around, this mid-strut that they're working on now gave them a little bit of trouble, so now they're back for a part 2 to try to get that into place. Teams here in Mission Control are looking at the hardware now. They have an exact model of the hardware and are taking what Koichi Wakata is saying and seeing and feeling with his hands to try to come up with a solution.
I cannot tell if it's different.
He has a number of tools at his disposal that he may be able to use. He may also be able to elicit the help of NASA astronaut Nicole Mann, who's holding onto the other side. It is a pretty tight workspace, so mission control teams are still determining the next steps.
Because I think I need just 3 hands to do that.
Yeah.
So, Dina, do you agree? If you comes in here on the on the lower side on the long handrail, and she can either work on the pliers while I push in.
Yeah, checking on that, Koichi. Okay, before we have Duke come over, we do like the suggestion to have Duke do a yawing motion from her perspective, as Koichi is ideally depressing both of those detents with both pliers.
And you want me to kind of wiggle it back and forth, or a steady pressure in the...
I think a steady, gentle pressure from you. If you can get the yawing motion heading to your body left, eventually the strut will hit a pin on the side pad, and that way you'll be able to actually apply pressure, as opposed to before you hit that pin, it'll be rotating around.
Yeah, and I can feel that hard stop there.
Indeed, it's difficult to use two pliers at the same time.
Yeah, copy, Koichi. We could have you
I will try.
depress both with your fingers and try to get them depressed as much as possible, and then see if we can get it installed before the detents pop back out. And stretching the tape.
Okay, copy that. Then I will. Okay, I will disengage this first, then the side pad.
We're in a split screen view now, both spacewalkers working together. So you can visualize this mid-strut as this long telescoping pole, so it can extend or retract as needed. NASA astronaut Nicole Mann is holding one end of this pole, while Koichi Wakata is holding the other. His view on the right side there, Wakata trying to get that piece that he's holding in his hands flush up against with that rectangle out on the mast canister. Nicole Mann is now going to work with him, kind of twisting and wiggling from her end to try to snap it into place as well. Meanwhile, here in Mission Control, we've got models of the exact equipment that they're using here in Mission Control being looked at for possible solutions as well.
Checking, hang on.
Okay. Like one of them is staying, but the other one is not staying. The tape is on and off.
Copy. Which one is staying and which one is not?
The lower side is staying, I would say. And if you flip, it's going to be the upper side. The upper side will stay, and the lower side, the tape is almost damaged, so it doesn't stay.
Okay, copy, Koichi. Thanks. Stand by. We're talking plans here.
Okay.
We're now about 2 hours into this spacewalk, estimated to last about 7 hours. They've already completed their first task of the day of doing some inspections on the lower strut, and now they're working on installation of the mid strut.
In order to get those detents more depressed, do you think you're able to hold one end of the tape so the non-loop end.
Okay.
Kind of keep some pressure on it with your thumb, and then peel up the other end slightly, add a little more depression to that detent, and then reinstall the tape with a little bit more tension.
Okay, I think it's possible unless the tape breaks off.
Copy.
Want me to try that? You have a go to do that?
Affirm, Koichi.
Okay, in work.
And you may want to pinch the other end with your thumb, coming at it from a slightly different direction. Oh, we see the tape broke. Copy.
Oh, the tape came up. Yeah, tape
you can
broke.
Get that in your trash bag.
Yes, I can. But you don't want to use this tape anymore. Is that correct?
Checking, Koichi. Koichi, if you think there might still be enough sticky on that length of tape that you pulled off, in order to reapply with a little more tension over that detent, you can give that a try.
We can try that.
Astronaut Koichi Wakata working with tape in an effort to get that piece in his hands flush with the rectangle on the mass canister there. He's trying to soft dock them, and tape is just one of the many tools he's using to get that into place. Unfortunately, a bit of the tape has come off, but he has an additional roll of tape there in his tool bag if needed. But if he thinks he can use the existing piece, Mission Control has relayed that that's okay too.
Using my chest bag.
And Vina, for EV1, TCV is set at 2.
While this installation is giving Koichi Wakata a little bit of trouble, teams here in Mission Control just relayed that even though we're at the 2-hour mark, there is still plenty of time left in this spacewalk to troubleshoot and plenty of ideas still left to try. They remain optimistic about this installation.
Okay, stand by, Koichi. We're talking one more thing here.
Is that you?
Yeah.
Okay, Koichi, we're going to have you grab the pliers and insert the pliers into the tether point toward the mass canister.
Into the tether point?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so gently go through the hole of the tether point, kind of aiming between, yeah, not too far. You want the bottom end of the pliers to just be touching the metal of the side pad. And now you're going to yaw it to your left. Bringing the pliers toward the handrail that your left hand is on and use it as a pry bar. You may want to take the pliers and go 90 degrees off from where you are, rotate them 90. Yeah, exactly, so that you're not using the bent portion of the pliers. Have a straight face going there. And apply a gentle, steady pressure. And I'm seeing a much bigger gap than before up top, so I think that detent is not even starting to engage on the top side.
I think it is. It's where it starts to engage. Oh, this I use this, but now this the plier broke.
Copy, Koichi.
It was not a lot of force, but it's just a tiny bit of plier.
Don't touch that end of the pliers.
Okay.
And you can put them in your trash bag, Koichi.
Okay. So it is still.
That's Zena Cardman on your screen. She's the voice that you hear communicating with the crew.
Into the trash bag. Do you agree?
Copy. We agree. Stand by.
Koichi Wakata just attempted to use his pliers, kind of repurposing it as a way to plow the other side of it back into place. Unfortunately, the force was a little too much for the pliers and they snapped. So Koichi fortunately has a trash bag up there with him, and the crew is just making sure that he doesn't touch any of the sharp edges, as we don't want to cause any damage to the spacesuits. And now we're working on another solution.
Just a moment. There you go. Thank you. I'll do the same.
We're talking a plan down here, guys. Thanks for your patience.
One more. All right.
One more? What is this?
Okay. Awesome. See, so we have one more flyer left.
Yeah. Saw any fuck ups with that or no?
What's that?
Did you see any progress when you did that, or not? No movement?
No progress at all.
Moving on now to the next troubleshooting option, having NASA astronaut Nicole Mann move over.
One more try before we have Duke come over to where Koichi is. We'll have her do that yawing motion, so going to her body left with her end of the strut. And then Koichi, on your end, if you can get in as good a body position as possible, stay stable, and use the pliers. You'll need both the needle nose pliers and the taped pliers. And we want you to be depressing both of those detents at the same time while Duke is doing her yawing motion.
Okay.
And Zena for EV1, TCV is at 1.
TCV at 1, copy.
The needle nose are below your right, like below your PTT.
PTT, okay.
Now they're underneath your mini workstation. They're just floating. They're not tangled. Now they're kind of on your left side.
Okay.
Looks like NASA astronaut Nicole Mann is going to stay put as they try one more thing. She's holding the other end of this mid-strut. If you look towards the top of your screen, you can see that one of her feet is inside of the portable foot restraint. So if she were to come over to Koichi, she would need to egress that, and then Mission Control has the path forward that they would like her to take, only if we reach that step.
So, Zena, you meant I use the needle nose in place of one of the pliers. BRT, and I have my workstation and deflector locked.
Copy, Koichi.
The blind operation on the one side, I can see one side clearly, but that doesn't allow me to look at the bottom side. But I think I can feel the plunger with the needle nose.
Okay, copy. If you're getting some good tactile feedback as best you can, that's the right move.
Stand by, I will have a better positioning of the tools.
Let me know and I can yaw some more.
Okay, just a moment.
Duke, for you, if we could have you hold the bolt canister rather than the bolt. Thank you.
Okay, I can do the can feel the detent on the upper side, but hard to see the detent on the left
Okay,
side.
and I'm yawing left.
Okay, let me handle the broken pliers that I don't mistakenly use that one. what's the plans with the damaged pliers? Can I just leave it outside? It's still taped. It's connected, so it doesn't go anywhere. But
copy. Yeah, we're concerned about a sharp edge there, so we just want it to be out of the way and be careful not to grab that end of the pliers, but understand it won't fit in your trash bag.
Right. I'm going to put it in partially in the trash bag so I don't accidentally touch it.
Copy.
没看过这样的莎莎，原来运动帽戴起来可以那么性感。一顶运动帽，看见中天小清新加于另一种风情。粉红色特别适合沉浸在幸福里的体育教官。小豪主播安静下来，把 C 位让给运动帽。中天文创品牌 Keep Going 系列运动休闲帽，个性黑、樱花粉、奶茶色3款配色即可入手，请上快点购。有您的支持，中天 Keep Going。